Is Colorado a tax deed state? Guess what? In this video, we're going to be answering that question and a lot more. So stick around. In fact, in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how Colorado works, what you need to be aware of as an investor, and how to level up and make sure that your family prospers financially from all this information. But I got a little bonus for you. Okay, stick around to the very end. Okay, we've got a short little video on this, and I will show you, I got a little bonus for you. Just stick around to that end, and I'll show you how to wrap all this stuff and make this thing, this Colorado thing explode for you. So, Colorado, is it a tax deed state? Technically, no. So in Colorado, they have what's called a tax lien certificate that can turn into a deed. So that may be why you're getting the question on that. Which state is this? So let me explain something about Colorado. In all of the counties throughout Colorado, Arapahoe, Boulder, Jefferson, whatever the county is over there, once a property owner becomes 1 year delinquent on the property taxes, the county government is going to hold a sale. At that sale, people like you and I can put up the money for the delinquent taxes. Now, let me stop right there. You're not buying somebody's house, okay? In fact, you're not dealing with the property owner. You're dealing with the county, okay? In Colorado, the county will be your workhorse. In other words, they offer it up for sale, you pay to the county, and they're going to offer you an interest rate. Now, this is where it gets tricky in Colorado. See, in Colorado, they don't offer you a flat interest rate. They take the Federal Reserve rate and add 9%, and that's the opening bid. So let's say the Federal Reserve rate is 5% for easy math. You add 9% to that, you're looking at 14% is the bid, or excuse me, I should say the interest rate on a tax lien certificate in Colorado. Now, I just mentioned bid, so there could be a bid down the interest. So if there's other competition there, they could say, well, I'm willing to accept 12, I'm willing to accept 11, too. I'm willing to accept the lowest interest rate. This is how it works. So why would Colorado do something like this? It's really interesting. This is the only mechanism that the county has to ensure that the county is going to collect their much needed property taxes. What does the county need property taxes for? Basic services. You've got number one is a school district. I'm going to say probably 58% of property taxes in Colorado are paid towards the school districts. In other words, all these beautiful schools that they have there. And then you've got roads, bridges, fire department, parks and rec, all the other services that the county utilizes or provides for its residents there. And for all of those things happening and all of those things taking place, every property owner has a small fraction of the value of the property goes towards the county treasurer. Now, if the county doesn't get that, they have a mechanism that says, hey, you haven't been paying your property taxes off. The only lever that we have to pull is, okay, you can't sell the property, you can't refinance the property, can't even get a divorce until you satisfy these delinquent property taxes on there. Once you satisfy those delinquent property taxes, you're good to go with whatever you want. But if a property owner becomes more than 1 year delinquent, then the county has the legal right to go ahead and offer those up for sale. And as I just told you in Colorado, it's the Federal Reserve rate plus 9%. So right now they'd be about 14, 15% on that, which is not a bad rate of return. Now here's the beauty. The safety for you is if you bought a lien on a property, let's just say for $3,000. Say you bought a lien, $3,000, I'm getting 15% on that. Here's the beautiful part in Colorado. If the property owner doesn't come in at the end of 3 years to pay the county, not you, the county their delinquent taxes, you have the right to foreclose on the property. In a sense, you've kind of taken over the county's position. Okay, see, the county controls the title, but you gave them the money, so the lien's yours. Yeah, but you still have the power of the county. Say, hey, guy hasn't paid his property taxes off. You call the county your workhorse. Remember, I'd like to go ahead and execute my right to foreclose. So now the county says, okay, you can start the foreclosure process. That would mean bringing up any other liens and encumbrances on the property, bring them up to pay, to clear, notifying everybody that's got a financial interest in that property. That would include any bank loans, any mechanics liens, any liens that are showed on that property have to be notified that says, hey, this person has not paid their property taxes and we would like to foreclose on the property. Here's the beautiful part about it. If they don't come in within the prescribed amount of time, maybe it's 60 days or 90 days, they don't just sit there and wait. There are certain things that have to happen during that 60 days, during that 90 days, to ensure that everybody got proper notification. Because the county doesn't want to surprise anybody, like a bank or what have you, that this is they're being eliminated. So let's go back to this. Why don't the banks pay these? Why should they? They've already got a loan against the property. They know that if a mortgager, a property owner, jeopardizes the mortgage by not paying their property taxes, they will get notified, okay? And if you look at any mortgage out there, there's some fine print that says if you don't pay your property taxes and you jeopardize the mortgage, the bank's position, not only can they come in there and satisfy the delinquent taxes, but they can also call your mortgage due. It's almost on sale clause, if you will. But if you don't pay your property taxes, the county or the prop bank is going to say, dude, you just put us in a bad situation. We want our money back. Okay, we'll pay off the lien so we don't jeopardize our situation, but we want our mortgage back right away. So the banks don't really care about this, but let's not make any mistakes here. I don't want any ambiguity here. If everybody's notified properly and you're good to go on that, okay, guess what? That position is eliminated. There's no gray area. So if you foreclose on property due to delinquent property taxes, all liens and encumbrances, including a mortgage, including the IRS, will be wiped out and extinguished on that property. So as you can well imagine, there's a very systematic process, no matter if it's Colorado, Arkansas, Alaska, okay? They all have their own systems. The beautiful part about it is the underlying security. Think about this. In this situation, I'm either getting 15% on my money mandated by state law, or I get a property free and clear for just the back taxes, okay? Well, Sean, what are the likelihoods of getting a property back for just the back taxes? That's a whole nother video, okay? But we'll talk about that later on. The point is your security is there. Doesn't matter if they pay it off, I get my 15%. If they don't, I own the property free and clear, and I am the superior position. Again, no gray area in the law on this. This has been around for well over 200 years. In fact, if you go into the history of our country, it was Thomas Jefferson that lost Monticello to delinquent property taxes. This isn't just pop on the scene. Okay, this has been around. Property taxes have been due on properties longer than we've been a country. I had somebody one time in the comments, and by the way, you like this information, hit comments, right? Ask a question. They said, well, before we were a country, England got this. England they never got property taxes. That was always to local jurisdiction. The reason we fought the war was on tariffs and taxes on import goods, not on property taxes by any stretch of the imagination on that one. Anyways, kind of a funny comment on that, if you will, which gives me to the point that I do answer all the questions on it. So give us a thumbs up on that. So the most important thing you can do when looking at tax lien certificates in Colorado or anywhere around the country is several items. Number one, when is their sale? What time during the year are they going to conduct their sale? Number two, how soon before the sale will they be publishing the list? Typically, that's about 30 days, okay? Now that you've got the sale date, the amount, what's the interest rate? What is their redemption period? And everything you need to know about that particular county's auction. In other words, what day of the week is it? Is it a bid down the interest? Is it premium bidding? What are the stakes involved here? And how do you overcome that? And here's another thing, research. I want to make sure I see every single one of these properties I buy a lien. Understand, the security is the property. So I'm not going to buy a lien for $3,000 just because it's paying 15%. And then I find out later on it's 10 feet wide and 100 yards long. I mean, the only person that's good for is a dog run, right? So you got to make sure there's a structure on there that you would want because that's the underlying security. You got to make sure it's a neighborhood that you like. All of these situations are crucial before you make the decision to go to the sale, put your hand up, and put your hard-earned money at it. The rewards are extraordinary if you do your research right. That's the key. You must do this research correctly. And the beautiful part of all of that is right now, I have got fresh off the press, a brand new course that's going to do exactly that. It's going to walk you step by step through the whole process. All you got to do is, it's my gift to you. It's free. Click the link below, higginsmethod.com. Go to my website, click on there and say, I'm interested, and I'll send you the course for free. This is Saen Higgins saying level up and God bless.